Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been informed that our guest of honor has just entered the building and will begin the event in just a few moments. Just a friendly reminder to please rise as we greet our guest of honor and continue to remain standing for the national anthem, Negaraku. We shall be keeping all of you informed as time goes by, and we shall begin, like I said, in just a few moments. Baiklah, hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, diminta untuk berdiri. Majlis mengumumkan keberangkatan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Sultan Perak Darul Ridwan dan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Raja Permaisuri Perak Darul Ridwan diiringi ahli lembaga pemegang amanah Merdeka Award Trust. Dipersilakan. Para hadirin diminta untuk kekal berdiri untuk nyanyian lagu kebangsaan Negaraku. Terima kasih. Dipersilakan untuk mengambil tempat masing-masing. Menghadap Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Sultan Perak Darul Ridwan, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al-Maghfurlah, penaung diraja dan pengurusi lembaga pemegang amanah Merdeka Award Trust dan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Raja Permaisuri Perak Darul Ridwan, Tuanku Zara Salim. Ampun Tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun, sembah patik mohon diampun. Patik bagi pihak majlis dengan penuh hormat dan takzimnya merafak sembah menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih di atas limpah perkenan Duli-Duli Yang Maha Mulia Tuanku sudi bercemar duli berangkat ke majlis pengumuman dan penyampaian Merdeka Award 2022 pada petang yang berbahagia ini. Sesungguhnya keberangkatan Duli-Duli Tuanku yang amat patut sekalian sanjungi dan sudah pasti akan menambah seri majlis pada petang ini. Ampun Tuanku. Patik memohon limpah perkenan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Tuanku untuk Patik turut mengalu-alukan dip-dip kenamaan serta hadirin sekalian dan seterusnya meneruskan atur cara di dalam dua bahasa, iaitu bahasa Inggeris dan juga bahasa Malaysia.
Yang Mulia Tengku Datuk Muhammad Taufik, President and Group Chief Executive Officer of Petronas and Merdeka Award Board of Trustee, Mr. Ivan Tan, Chairman of Shell Malaysia and Senior Vice President, Malaysia Upstream and Merdeka Award Board of Trustee, Merdeka Award Trust Independent Board of Trustees, Merdeka Award laureates and committee members, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon and welcome to the 2022 Merdeka Award announcement and presentation ceremony. This year marks the 15th year for the Trust, and we are truly honored to welcome each and every one of you present here today to celebrate this momentous occasion, including some of the previous Merdeka Award trustees who are present with us here today, and past award and grant recipients. Once again, thank you for taking the time to join us here to celebrate this momentous occasion. And once again, my name is Julie Woon, and together with me,
I'm Naz Rahman. We are your Masters of Ceremonies for today. Selamat datang juga diucapkan kepada warga maya kita yang menonton secara langsung di laman sosial Merdeka Award di Facebook, di YouTube dan juga Microsoft Teams. Terima kasih di atas sokongan anda semua. Ampun tuanku, bagi memohon rahmat dan keberkatan kepada majlis kita pada petang ini, dengan segala hormatnya dijemput Ustaz Ahmad Syukri untuk menghadap serta merafak sembah memohon limpah perkenan duli-duli tuanku bagi memimpin bacaan doa. Dipersilakan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. O Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, we ask for your blessings for the successful of the 2022 Merdeka Award announcements and presentation ceremony and the 50th anniversary celebration of the Merdeka Award Trust. O Allah, fill our hearts with a spirit of cohesiveness and a willingness to work together to achieve success in these challenging times toward a sustainable future for our beloved country. Grant your protection, safety and security to our people, friends and colleagues who work day and night on land and across the oceans so that they may be free from all diseases, injuries and harm. O Allah, protect their families too. O Allah the Almighty, grant your success and blessings to His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, the Sultan of Perak Darul Ridwan, and Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim, the Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Ridwan, and all our distinguished guests today. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Setinggi-tinggi terima kasih diucapkan kepada Ustaz Ahmad Syukri.
Your Royal Highness, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Merdeka Award Trust was established through a joint collaborative effort between Petronas, ExxonMobil and Shell on the 27th of August 2007 to recognize and reward outstanding individuals and organizations whose works and achievements have contributed greatly to the growth of our nation and inspired greatness in the people of Malaysia.
Ampun tuanku, disembah maklumkan bahawa hari ini merupakan titik bersejarah bagi Merdeka Award Trust yang menyambut ulang tahun yang ke-15. Sama-sama kita saksikan tayangan video yang mengimbau kembali sekalung memori meraihkan ulang tahun yang ke-15 bagi Merdeka Award Trust.
journey it has been this past 15 years. Congratulations once again to the Merdeka Award Trust and to many more meaningful years ahead. And once again today we are truly honored to have with us here those who have contributed to Malaysia and its people as we celebrate 15 years of fostering a culture of excellence with the Trust. To date, as we've seen in the video earlier, we have honored a total of 87 individuals and organizations in both the award and grant program who truly embody the passion, the spirit and determination of our Pejuang Kemerdekaan, role models with relentless human spirit. And just for your information, the Merdeka Award Trust was established in line with Malaysia's independence 50th anniversary. And so this year, we celebrate its 15th anniversary together with Malaysia's 65th independence celebrations. Ampun Tuanku. With great honor, it is now our pleasure to invite Yang Mulia Tengku Datuk Muhammad Taufik, President and Group Chief Executive Officer of Petronas and Merdeka Award Board of Trustee to give us an insight into the Merdeka Award Trust and to deliver his welcome remarks. Dipersilakan Yang Mulia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Menghadap duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Sri Sultan Perak Darul Rizwan Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al-Maghfurlah. Duli Yang Maha Mulia Raja Pemaisuri Perak Tuanku Zahra Salim. Ampun Tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun. Sembah patik, mohon diampun. Terlebih dahulu dengan penuh hormat dan takzimnya, patik memanjatkan kesyukuran kehadrat Allah Subhanahu wa taala kerana dengan limpah kurnianya patik dan sekalian hadirin dapat berkumpul bagi meraihkan keberangkatan Duli Yang Maha Mulia tuanku ke majlis yang amat istimewa ini. Ampun tuanku. Patik merafak sembah mohon perkenan tuanku meneruskan ucapan patik dalam bahasa Inggeris. His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah Sultan Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron of the Merdeka Award Trust and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, Mr. Ivan Tan, Chairman of Shell Malaysia and Senior Vice President, Malaysia Upstream and Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, Professor Datuk Dr. Halimatun Binti Hamdan, Merdeka Award Independent Board of Trustees, Datuk Yvonne, Merdeka Award Independent Board of Trustees, Merdeka Award laureates and grant recipients, past Merdeka Award trustees and committee members, my chairman, Tan Sri Baki Saleh, members of Petronas Management, dear colleagues, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the founders and Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to this year's announcement and presentation ceremony of the 2022 Merdeka Award. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks an occasion where we remember icons of our past, present, and indeed the future. We also embrace an inspiration for our future and recognize those whose work impacts the things that matter. The Merdeka Award Trust was first established by the founding members, Petronas and Shell, in 2007 on Malaysia's 50th year of independence. Indeed, it has been an honor and privilege for this industry to be able to contribute to our national journey, not only through growing the spheres of business and economy, but more importantly, through lifting up the people who are truly the foundation of this country. Over the years, Merdeka Award has established itself as one of the most respected Malaysian awards for deserving contributors to Malaysian society, holding true to its vision of encouraging a culture of excellence and enhancing Malaysia's standing in all key sectors. The establishment of the Merdeka Award grant for international attachment was a step forward, supporting deserving young Malaysians to build their expertise and pursue their international aspirations, a position that's further enhanced with the introduction of the Anugerah Harapan Merdeka. This growth is thanks to the stewardship and guidance of the trustees who have come before, many of whom are with us today. I hope that you are proud of what the Merdeka Award is today. And 15 years on, we continue to recognize and reward those who embody the spirit of Merdeka in the areas of health, science and technology, education and community, environment, scholastic achievements and contribution to the Malaysian people. Some of you may ask, what does this spirit of Merdeka really mean? With your indulgence, allow me an attempt to unpack this. Doubtless, the mention of the very word Merdeka itself invokes an array of emotions and memories for Malaysians. To some, it reflects the hardships and challenges that we face together in seeking independence, the euphoria of a then newly liberated country, and the rapid changes that unfolded in the years that followed as we transitioned from poverty to prosperity. For others, it evokes memories of waving the Jalo Gemilang flag in a school padang or in a field during a National Day parade. Some may even reminisce over the Petronas short films celebrating our culture and heritage. Regardless of the many different walks of life from which Malaysians hail, the unifying image of Tunku Abdul Rahman, Malaysia's first Prime Minister, heralding the birth of our nation at the Stadium Merdeka to a crowd of 20,000 remains indeed a unifying symbol. But that's not the only thing Malaysians agree on. In addition to our enviable diversity, there's much more that has brought us together since. Much more that has strengthened us together as a nation, as we have witnessed through many months of the pandemic we have just endured. In those moments which we saw filled with unprecedented trials and many painful tribulations, it was our compassion, our kindness, our courage, and indeed our innovation which helped us as values to also define us as a society. Ladies and gentlemen, the days ahead, like many periods of Malaysia in the past, will be fraught with uncertainty. This is a season of economic, environmental, and social transitions. This is also a season that may entrap some with anxiety. Some others may embrace this perceived crisis and these perceived changes with great excitement. Regardless of your response, we remain encouraged by this hope that humanity, in essence, is constantly on a quest to get and become better. Where and how is this betterment to be achieved? How will we get there? Who will lead the way? Often, we look to icons, heroes, if you will. They are beacons or north stars for some of the answers we seek, and I am honored to be in the company of such luminaries today. Recipients of the Merdeka Award have inspired and continue to inspire those in their fields and across generations, applying their mental faculties and ambitions regardless of geographic limitations, geopolitical shifts, socio-economic tensions, and other adversities. These individuals and organizations embody the spirit of Merdeka, the courage to envision for this country something which never before existed. Individuals and organizations equipped with the resolve to make those dreams a reality, and perhaps most importantly, the desire to strengthen not only themselves, but also others around them through their endeavors. Consistently, they rise to the challenge with a series of achievements fueled by a new mindset and a belief that we constantly can make breakthroughs. The Merdeka Award, an initiative of leading oil and gas industries in Malaysia, recognizes and rewards those who embody the spirit and heart of Merdeka, who consistently persevere and emerge with enduring purpose to improve the prosperity, the progress, and ultimately peace for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, our progress as a country in the past 65 years, from what was seen to be an agrarian economy to one which is today underpinned by technology and innovation, is evidence of the contribution of many Malaysians who have truly been passionate about purpose. For the last 18 months, more than 300 deserving recipients for the Merdeka Award were reviewed on the basis of individual or organizational merit. From science and technology to education, sports and the arts, this year's list features extraordinary Malaysians who have demonstrated exceptional standards and incredible achievements. On behalf of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, I would like to thank the 22 selection and nomination committee members for your time and commitment throughout the process. It was a tough job. and it was up to you to ensure the integrity and independence of the selection of recipients. Allow me now to briefly take you back in history and share a passage from the very first edition of the Merdeka Award commemorative book in 2000. It reads, "Greatness can spring from the most ordinary of roots. What matters is that a seed is first planted and then nurtured." To this, perhaps we can now add a short phrase. The Merdeka Award also accords laureates not only the seeds and roots to grow, but also the start of a hope that will also give them wings to fly. To all 63 Merdeka Award recipients, including those we celebrate today, as well as those who have supported and collaborated with and stood by them in their endeavors, let us continue the good work and continue to make meaningful and beneficial change in the world. I believe the impact of your efforts will continue to be far-reaching. Together, the board believes in creating a sustainable future by alleviating poverty, by advancing scientific discoveries, by preserving culture and heritage, by shaping new policies. This will lead to social justice and environmental conservation, developing equitable socio-economic models, and lead us to much, much more. May the spirit of Merdeka continue to be a guiding light for all that matters in the days ahead. Ampun tuanku, kami amat menghargai kepercayaan dan amanah yang diberikan kepada industri ini dalam menyumbang kepada perkembangan negara. Bukan sahaja melalui pertumbuhan perniagaan dan ekonomi, tapi yang lebih utama dalam pembangunan modal insan, meningkatkan kemahiran rakyat yang sebenarnya dan semutlaknya menjadi nadi penggerak negara ini. Pengiktirafan Anugerah Merdeka Award membuka jalan untuk memupuk kecemerlangan meskipun di kala negara mengharungi pelbagai dugaan, pelbagai cabaran yang mungkin belum pernah dilihat sebelum ini. Ramai di antara kalangan penerima Anugerah Merdeka cekal meneruskan usaha murni mereka dengan penuh semangat ke arah mencipta masa depan yang mampan, bukan hanya untuk mereka, tapi untuk semua. Tahniah saya ucapkan sekali lagi kepada pemenang Merdeka Award tahun ini, dan terima kasih sekali lagi kepada pemegang anugerah tahun ini bagi tahun-tahun lepas. Semoga kita semua terus berusaha dan berjasa untuk memupuk lagi keamanan, kemakmuran dan kemajuan negara yang kita semua cintai ini. Ampun tuanku, sekian sahaja sembah ucapan Patik sekali lagi dengan penuh hormat dan takzimnya merafak limpah perkenan duli tuanku kerana sudi mencemar duli berangkat ke majlis pengumuman dan penyampaian Merdeka Award 2022 pada tahun ini. Patik mohon dengan segala kerendahan diri Patik merafak sembah menyusun 10 jari mengatur tutur kata jika tiada tertib Patik pohonkan keampunan. Ampun tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun, sembah Patik mohon diampun. Patik menjunjung kasih tuanku. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a brilliant evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Mulia Tengku Dato', for encapsulating the spirit and essence of the Merdeka Award so beautifully in your speech earlier. Thank you once again.
Indeed, a sterling speech. And we move on with the next item on the agenda. Ampun tuanku, disebah maklumkan bahawa kini tibalah kepada kemuncak acara, iaitu titah diraja dan pengumuman penerima anugerah Merdeka Award bagi tahun 2022. Dengan hormatnya dijemput Yang Mulia Tengku Datuk Muhammad Taufik untuk menghadap serta merafak sembah memohon limpah perkenan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Sultan Perak bagi menzahirkan titah dan seterusnya mengumumkan penerima anugerah Merdeka Award bagi tahun 2022. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Since achieving independence in 1957, Malaysia has undergone a huge transformation. Huge investments were made in infrastructure and human capital development to drive our economic growth. The aims were to improve standards of living for rural and urban populations, to alleviate poverty, to raise the level of education, to improve health outcomes, and to ensure the inclusion of all in the growing prosperity of our young nation. The success of these efforts can be seen in the industrialization of Malaysia, the modernization of our economy, and the elevation of overall well-being throughout our society. This progress has provided a strong foundation for the quality of life we enjoy today. These achievements were made possible by the wisdom and dedication of our founding leaders, and by the active participation of Malaysians who have been steadfast in the pursuit of excellence and in their duty to nation building. Later this month, we will mark the 61st anniversary of our independence, commemorating our achievements so far and looking forward to our further development. The world beyond Malaysia presents us with new and ever more difficult challenges, however. So while we celebrate how far we have come since 1957, we must also continue to strive, to struggle, and to work together towards a brighter future. I am confident that we Malaysians have the talent and tenacity, the grit and gumption to make our future both sustainable and equitable. We are also celebrating the 15th year since the founding of the Merdeka Award Trust. As many of you know, and as we've heard this afternoon, the Merdeka Award is intended to embody the spirit of Merdeka. It honors those who have made outstanding contributions to our nation. It celebrates their resolute pursuit of excellence in their respective fields and the realization by them of their full human potential. These laureates serve as an inspiration for the rest of us. I want to mention some of our laureates who are sadly no longer with us, but whose legacy lives on through their outstanding achievements. The late Tan Sri Lim Pek Gan, for her fight for women's rights and marginalized groups in the late 1960s. The late Dr. Engkik Supatmo, for his significant contribution to research and the conservation of plant diversity in Malaysian forests. Several species of plants are even named after him. The late Dr. Lim Boon Liat, whose remarkable contributions in the field of zoology have even been recognized in a Google Doodle. The late Emeritus Professor Tan Sri Koo Kay Kim, who was an instrumental figure in the formulation of the Rukun Negara, and whose works are a primary source of reference for the history curriculum of Malaysia. Allah Yarham Royal Professor Engku Aziz, and Allah Yarham Tun Dr. Ashad Ayub, who helped shape and develop Malaysia's education landscape through education reforms and innovation. The late Dato' Leslie Davidson, who revolutionized the development of the local oil palm industry, and the late Tan Sri Jus Falen, who helped pave the way for economic growth and the prosperity of this country. We are pleased to have many of our laureates here with us today who have also made an indelible mark on our country. The Merdeka Trust is delighted to have been able to honor some of Malaysia's best minds, bravest hearts, and most capable hands through this illustrious tribute. Whilst recognizing these giants and leaders, the Trust also wanted to nurture among young Malaysians the pioneering spirit that has helped to drive our country's progress. This is particularly important as we move towards a future where innovative scientific research and development and technological know-how fostered by the next generation is what will provide us with competitive advantage. In 2012, we introduced the Merdeka Award grant for international attachment to complement the Merdeka Award. It provides outstanding researchers under the age of 35 the opportunity to collaborate with international experts in their fields of interest. This enables them to build on their existing work and achievements. In both the award and the grant, the Merdeka Award Trust has recognized outstanding Malaysians in the following areas, among others: medical research to identify causes and treatments for various types of cancer, heart disease, HIV, and other infectious diseases. Solutions for sustainable agriculture production and for improved food and waste management. Innovations in space exploration and in energy conversion and storage using local commodities. Disaster response and management through integrated partnerships between the public and private sectors and universities. Advocacy for our culture and heritage, including for indigenous people through art. And conservation of our rich biodiversity, flora and fauna. Many of our recipients have gone on to enhance and expand their body of work, establishing themselves as subject matter experts and thought leaders in their respective disciplines, both here in Malaysia and globally. We are extremely proud of them all. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that this year we are recognizing 5 more well-deserving recipients for the Merdeka Award as follows. In the Education and Community category, the award is given to Teach for Malaysia. For their work to ensure higher quality education in government schools, especially in rural and underprivileged communities. Their work is underpinned by the belief that a child's education and future should not be determined by his or her circumstances in life. In the environment category, the award is given to the Global Environment Center. The award recognizes their outstanding contribution in mangrove, peat swamp forests, river and coastal management, their climate change programs, and their promotion of community engagement and partnerships to help conserve and protect our environment and natural resources. In the Health, Science and Technology category, the recipient is Professor Datuk Dr. Adiba Kamarul Zaman. She is a driving force in mitigating the spread of infectious diseases, whose work in structuring policies and responses to HIV/AIDS has contributed to the prevention, treatment, and reduction of cases. In the Outstanding Scholastic Achievement category, the recipient is Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Majid. This is in recognition of her outstanding contribution as an archaeologist, including her role in the discovery of Perak Man and her efforts in promoting the designation of Lenggong Valley as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In the Outstanding Contribution to the People of Malaysia category, the award is given to Datuk Dr. Annabel Teh Gallup. This is for her outstanding contribution to scholarly research, curation, archiving, and the preservation of ancient Malay letters, manuscripts, and other documents, and Malay and Islamic seals. Her work has promoted understanding of Malay as the language of trade and diplomacy throughout the Malay archipelago, and helped to illuminate the rich heritage of the Malay world. This year, the Trust is debuting a new category, Anugerah Harapan Merdeka, to recognize a younger generation of trailblazers consisting of individuals below 40 years of age or organizations less than 10 years old. The inaugural recipient of Anugerah Harapan Merdeka is Samuel Isaiah. He is recognized for his outstanding contribution and unflagging commitment to improving and uplifting the standard of education among orang asli children, as well as for his work in coaching teachers to help elevate the quality of education for all. Both the grant and Anugerah Harapan Merdeka contribute towards the development of a pipeline of distinguished talents, serving to inspire others who may one day also emerge to become Merdeka Award laureates. As I consider the list of 63 laureates who have been conferred the Merdeka Award, I am inspired by those who continue to push the envelope and make all efforts to foster a culture of excellence. Many are ahead of their time and are giants in their fields, but remain humble in their pursuit of progress. Such major achievements generally do not come about without some sacrifice, of course. There may have been times when our laureates have wavered, especially if the path towards their goals is pitted with trials. Yet, they retain their strong sense of mission, remaining resolute, determined, and driven. They are remarkable and admirable people. With persistence and foresight, they have pioneered new approaches to tackle issues affecting society and the planet. Through their efforts, they are helping humanity to survive and thrive from one generation to the next. As such, the Trust aims to advance the important work that they do and to amplify the impact they make in the social, economic, and environmental realms. By celebrating and acknowledging these extraordinary Malaysians, we hope they will become a beacon to those who follow after them. Our enduring ambition at the Merdeka Trust remains to foster a culture of excellence and in doing so, to promote thought leadership and innovation, and to enhance Malaysia's standing as a dynamic and competitive 21st century global player in all key sectors, from science and technology to culture and the arts. In promoting this goal, we are helping to create a Malaysia that is stronger, more resilient, and more united. And I must emphasize that these goals are not the responsibility of leaders or of specific individuals or organizations alone. They will be attained only through the collective effort of us all, both in this room and beyond. By joining hands together, including with members of the media, we can strengthen the impactful work being done for and by our people. As we press on with hope for a better future, I want to thank you all for staying on the course of excellence and for promoting the path of positive change through your outstanding work in so many diverse and important fields. I want to end by thanking my fellow members of the Board of Trustees, Tengku Datuk Muhammad Taufik, Ivan Tan, Datuk Yvonne Chia, and Professor Datuk Dr. Halimatun Hamdan, the members of the nomination and selection committees, as well as the hard-working Secretary of the Board, Karina Fauzi. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating once again this year's distinguished awardees. Thank you.
Majlis menjunjung kasih tuanku dan mohon perkenan tuanku untuk tetap berada di atas pentas untuk acara seterusnya. Ampun tuanku. Kini dengan segala hormatnya dijemput Yang Mulia Tengku Datuk Muhammad Taufik dan Mr. Ivan Tan ke atas pentas bagi mengiringi Duli Yang Maha Mulia tuanku untuk acara penyampaian anugerah Merdeka Award 2022 dan sijil kepada penerima. Dipersilakan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the pinnacle of today's ceremony, the Merdeka Award Trust 2022 award presentation. For the first award category, Education and Community. This award goes to Teach for Malaysia. We would like to welcome the representative from Teach for Malaysia, Mr. Chan Soon Singh, Chief Executive Officer of Teach for Malaysia, to receive the trophy and certificate on stage. Congratulations and well done, Teach for Malaysia. Teach for Malaysia is awarded for their outstanding contribution in ensuring high-quality education in government schools, especially in rural and underprivileged communities, driven by a belief that a child's education and future should not be determined by his or her circumstances in life. Congratulations once again to your monumental contribution, Teach for Malaysia. Moving on to the next award, the recipient for the environment category. This award goes to Global Environment Center. We would like to invite the representative from GEC, Mr. Faisal Parish, founder and director of Global Environment Center, on stage to receive the trophy and certificate. Global Environment Center is awarded for their outstanding contribution in mangrove, peat swamp forest, river and coastal management, climate change programs and forging community engagement, as well as partnerships that help to conserve and protect the environment and natural resources in Malaysia. Congratulations to Global Environment Center.
Ampun tuanku, untuk anugerah seterusnya bagi kategori kesihatan, sains dan teknologi, tahniah diucapkan kepada Datuk Profesor Dr. Adiba Kamaruzaman. Dipersilakan resipien kita, Datuk Profesor Dr. Adiba Kamaruzaman bagi kategori Kesihatan, Sains dan Teknologi, dan beliau dipilih atas pencapaian dalam menjadi penggerak utama untuk mengurangkan penyebaran penyakit berjangkit seperti HIV/AIDS dan mengubah dasar serta menstruktur tindak balas yang membawa kepada pencegahan, rawatan dan pengurangan kes HIV/AIDS di Malaysia. Tahniah Datuk Profesor Dr. Adiba Kamaruzaman. Seterusnya, penerima bagi kategori pencapaian ilmiah cemerlang bagi tahun 2022, Emeritus Profesor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Abdul Majid. Dipersilakan. I have a confession, ladies and gentlemen. At 13 years old, I wanted to be an archaeologist, and two things made me want to become one. Number one was Indiana Jones, and number two was the discovery of the Perak Man in 1991. This was the lady who discovered the Perak Man, Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Abdul Majid, di atas pencapaian sebagai pakar sejarah dan pencapaian yang cemerlang dalam ahli arkeologi Malaysia yang pertama, serta pencapaian dalam memacu usaha ke arah pengiktirafan Lembah Lenggong sebagai tapak warisan dunia UNESCO. Tahniah Emeritus Profesor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Abdul Majid.
Moving on to our next award category, which is for outstanding contribution to the people of Malaysia. Please welcome Datuk Dr. Annabel T. Gallup. Datuk Dr. Annabel T. Gallup is being rewarded now for her outstanding contribution in scholarly research, curation, archiving and preservation of ancient Malay letters and manuscripts, Malay seals and documents, which led to the understanding of Malay language as the language of trade and diplomacy throughout the Malay archipelago, and the illumination of the rich heritage of the Malay world. Congratulations once again, Datuk Dr. Annabel T. Gallup, for your contribution to the history of Malaysia. Congratulations to our award recipients thus far. Ampun Tuanku. For the first time in 15 years, Merdeka Award has one new category, Anugerah Harapan Merdeka, which recognizes the distinctive efforts of Malaysians aged 40 years old and below, or organizations which have been incepted for less than 10 years. For its outstanding contribution as well as commitment in improving and uplifting the standard of education among the Orang Asli children and in coaching teachers to elevate the overall quality of education for all, please put your hands together for Samuel Isaiah. Congratulations once again to Samuel Isaiah, our youngest recipient thus far for the inaugural new Anugerah Harapan Merdeka Award category. And hopefully this will be the first step towards possibly becoming a Merdeka Award laureate in the future.
Ampun tuanku, mohon limpah perkenan duli tuanku untuk sesi bergambar bersama div-div kehormat dan penerima anugerah Merdeka Award 2022. Dipersilakan. Inilah dia resipien-resipien Merdeka Award 2022, Malaysians who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. With resilience in their hearts, they aim to bring Malaysia, to elevate Malaysia to another level. Dipersilakan rakan-rakan media kita, inilah dia peluang bergambar buat anda. Baiklah, kita memberi sedikit masa lagi untuk rakan-rakan media kita. Dan itulah dia, menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih tuanku. And thank you to the founding members of the Merdeka Award Trust. Once again, congratulations to all recipients of the 2022 Merdeka Award. Sekali lagi, menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih tuanku.
It's truly heartening to see so many inspiring Malaysians, and personally, I have never been prouder to be a Malaysian than now.
Absolutely right, Julie. Absolutely right.
Congratulations to all of our award recipients for the 2022 Merdeka Award. Ampun tuanku. Refreshments will now be served shortly. Please do enjoy the wonderful spread we have prepared for you as we continue with today's formalities. And for our virtual audience, we will be taking a short break. In the meantime, we will be showcasing a video of the Merdeka Award journey for you.
Sementara itu, apa kata kita saksikan bingkisan yang kami sediakan, kita menggamit sejarah Merdeka Award yang telah ditubuhkan 15 tahun dahulu. Saksikan. Baiklah para hadirin sekalian, we hope lunch is as per your expectations, dan kepada para penonton kita yang telah pun log in secara maya, selamat kembali ke Grand Hyatt Hotel Kuala Lumpur untuk Merdeka Award Trust 2022 bersama saya Naz Rahman dan Julie Woon. Para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, we've got great entertainment coming your way as you enjoy your spot of lunch. Bagi meneruskan acara pada hari ini, kami ingin menjemput seorang legenda ke pentas bagi menghiburkan suasana pada petang ini. Bunga-bunga cinta layu di pusara. Berikan tepukan untuk Misha Omar.
Sejuta bintang di angkasa, sinarnya mempesona. Sebutir bintang di taman seni, cahayanya berseri. Biar bertahun masa beredar, satu wajah, satu nama takkan pudar. Tetap jelas di ruang mata, setiap gerak gaya bergetaran merdu sinar di persada budaya. Hingga kini menjadi sebutan, tetap terpahat namamu di ingatan. Kaulah satu-satunya di antara berjuta insan teristimewa. Mata tak tumbuh lagi, hilang belum berganti, karena kau tersendiri. Kau kebanggaan kita, kau budayawan bangsa. Engkau legenda. Kaulah satu-satunya di antara berjuta insan teristimewa. Mata tak tumbuh lagi, hilang belum berganti,
Misha Oma, ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful voice to accompany that beautiful face. And rest assured, she will be coming on stage for a second performance very, very soon. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you have feasted your eyes on the screen earlier on as we paid tribute and to honor our 9 Merdeka Award recipients that have left us, but their legacy continues to live on. So let's take a moment of silence to pay respect in our very own way.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. It was quite an emotional performance. Bergenang air mata saya seketika mengingatkan mereka yang telah pergi. Ladies and gentlemen, ampun tuanku, bersempena ulang tahun yang ke-15 Merdeka Award Trust, 6 penerima telah dinobatkan dengan anugerah berprestij Anugerah Merdeka 2022 di atas kejayaan cemerlang serta sumbangan besar mereka kepada rakyat Malaysia dan juga negara. Pada tahun ini, pencarian para penerima anugerah telah dianjurkan secara meluas di Malaysia dan di peringkat antarabangsa. Lebih 300 individu dan organisasi berkaliber tinggi, cemerlang serta memberi impak yang mampan dalam usaha kerja mereka telah dinilai dalam pemilihan penerima anugerah kita. Untuk anugerah pendidikan dan komuniti, mereka dianugerahkan di atas kecemerlangan dalam gerakan memperkasakan pendidikan kanak-kanak di Malaysia dan membantras ketidaksamaan jurang pendidikan yang berpunca daripada faktor sosioekonomi, sistemik dan ideologi lazim.
We started with this premise that every child deserves access to quality education. So we thought about, exam results. We thought about university access. And so all of our fellows were then really trained to think about how do we help improve academic outcomes. But I think what we realized when we went into school was that the disparities that some students faced were so huge that it didn't necessarily make sense for every single child and every single student to go to university, for example. So what we realized was that actually what kids need is an education that will allow them to unlock the potential that they choose for themselves. And so we really had to shift our focus to think about how do we have an education that's holistic, that allows students to become leaders of their learning. Hi, my name is Sun Seng and I'm the CEO of Teach from Malaysia, and Teach from Malaysia is a proud recipient of the Merdeka Awards Education and Community category 2022.
Mr. Chan Sun Seng, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Teach for Malaysia, untuk menyampaikan ucapan beliau. Dipersilakan.
His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al Maghfurlah, Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust, Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Rizwan, members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In 2012, when I was a teacher under the Teach from Malaysia program, I met a student named Sean. And since the age of 13, he worked part-time after school to support his mother, who was the sole breadwinner in the family. And in a community where the average parent earned an income of 1,200 ringgit a month, there were very few who set their sights on a future beyond their community. So he had never imagined that university would be an option for him. My colleague, Brian, another Teach from Malaysia fellow in the same school, saw so much potential in Sean and closely supported him to eventually pursue a scholarship to study accounting and finance at Sunway University. Today, he's graduated, is working as an accountant, and is currently being sponsored by his employer to further his studies. I'd like to dedicate this award to Sean and to all the students who showed us that they could overcome great odds in order to shape a life of greater possibility for themselves. Our students are living proof that a quality education for all children, no matter their background, is possible. I'd also like to thank the Teach for Malaysia fellows, alumni, Program Duta Guru teachers, our staff, and trustees who work tirelessly day in and day out to lift the quality of education for students in Malaysia. And of course, we would not be here today without the support of the Ministry of Education and all of our partners and supporters. It's with deep gratitude that I'd like to say thank you to the Merdeka Award Trust for honoring Teach for Malaysia with the Merdeka Award, Education and Community category. When we think about the spirit of Merdeka, I believe that it calls on each and every one of us to have the agency to shape the future that we want to be true for Malaysia. And that's why at Teach for Malaysia, our student vision is to see a Malaysia where all children are leaders of their own learning, their future, and the future of our nation. We believe that the future of this country lies in the choices that our students will make. They will determine our future, whether we like it or not. But the reality is that so many students today do not have access to the kind of education that will allow them to realize their potential. So if we want a more perfect unity amongst society, the preservation of democracy, a just, equitably prosperous, liberally traditional and progressive society, we must empower all children to be leaders who will be able to uphold these Malaysian aspirations enshrined in our Rukun Negara. In closing, I'd like to tell you the story of another student called Sashi, who is here with us today. Sashi, can you give us a wave? That's Sashi, ladies and gentlemen. He was so inspired by the fellows who taught him, who introduced him to the possibility of a reimagined education experience, that he then went on to publish a book called What Students Want, where he sought the voices of students all over the country to really publish a manifesto of how students would shape education. He has then gone on to present that work at the Teach for All Global Conference and was selected amongst one of 7 student leaders from students all over the world to talk about this work. He has completed his studies in international relations at UUM and is currently working at the Asia School of Business. We're so proud of you, Shashi. And you are an example of what shows we believe, that when given the opportunity, we know that our students can rise to the occasion. And that gives us hope for a better future for Malaysia and us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chan Soon Seng, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Teach for Malaysia. They will determine the future, whether we like it or not. Those are words that I will keep to heart. And so, terima kasih juga kepada guru-guru bersama-sama Teach for Malaysia who have gone above and beyond. Moving on to the
That's
next
right.
award
What
category.
a beautiful sharing that was. Now moving on to the next award category for environment. In their effort to advocate for protection, rehabilitation and sustainable use of forests, mangroves, peatlands and rivers with a key focus on community involvement and biodiversity conservation, as well as education, empowerment, awareness and capacity building with various organizations, sectors and the public. Let's take a look.
Global Environment Centre is a Malaysian non-profit organisation. Our focus is on the protection of environment and natural resources, bringing together coalitions to address key environment management challenges. So we work on 3 main areas: forest and the coastal system, mangroves in particular. In terms of restoration, we have a regional program is looking at peat ecosystem, peatland forest, and preventing fire and haze and degradation. And then we have a 3rd program looking at rivers and water resource management. We're active throughout Malaysia, and we have projects and programs in all 10 ASEAN member states. We're actively assisting, guiding the government and working with different partners from private sector, local community and others to safeguard, manage, restore, prevent fires in these peatland, peat swamp forest and peatland ecosystems. I'm Faisal Parish, Director of the Global Environment Centre, recipient of the Environment category of the Merdeka Award 2022.
Let's welcome him in person on stage from Global Environment Center, Mr. Faisal Parish, founder and director of Global Environment Center, to deliver his acceptance speech.
His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muhyiddin Shah Ibni Al-Marham Sultan Azlan Muhyiddin Shah Al-Maghfurlah, Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust. Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Rizwan, members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, fellow awardees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. On behalf of the board, management and staff of the Global Environment Center, GEC, I wish to record our heartfelt gratitude to the organizers of the Merdeka Award for selecting GEC this year for this very prestigious award. We are humbled by this generous gesture and accept the award not just on behalf of the GEC family, but for our numerous stakeholders and partners who have contributed significantly to this success, including government agencies, private sector, community groups, donors, staff, volunteers, fellow NGOs, and other collaborators, and more importantly, the people on the ground, the local community, whether the Orang Asli or the local fishermen or farmers that we work together with on a daily basis to support and empower them to be the stewards of the environment, whether it's in their village or their forest or their land area. We need to recognize that the resources of Malaysia in many cases have been stewarded and looked after for hundreds of years by local communities. And yet, sometimes in our arrogance, we come there from outside and presume to tell them what to do to manage their environment and their area. Very often, they are much more knowledgeable than university professors about the environment, about the importance of nature, and we need to always respect their rights and to work with them, empower with them. And we have had many of our great successes as an organization because of these local champions. So we really do accept the Merdeka Award on behalf of all of these local partners in many villages, in many kampongs throughout Malaysia and the region. We know that in order to be effective change makers in society, and in particular to work for long-term environmental sustainability, we have to take an integrated multi-stakeholder approach for whatever we're doing, our projects and endeavors. We believe that we must work as one. In the past, very often, environmental groups like my own were happy to just blame others. We blame the private sector for this. We blame the government for mismanaging. We blame other people for over-exploiting. But we really realize that we will never come to a solution if we're only playing the blame game. We can only succeed if we bring those stakeholders together and craft a common vision together and then move forward as one, integrating the work of different stakeholders. No one lives like an island. We all need one another. On that note, experience has been a good but tough teacher to us, especially in the last 2 years. It's taught us through the pandemic how much we rely on others other than ourselves and how weak and ineffective we are in addressing the broader problems of this planet if we do not look after our environment. We have learned kita jaga kita is the critical word, and we must carry that forward, not forget about the pandemic. Yes, we would like to forget about being locked up and home alone, but we must remember that spirit of kita jaga kita in the future. We need our environment for clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, and natural resources to sustain not only us, but all life on Earth. Mother Nature needs us too, everyone here in the ballroom and beyond. She needs us. She doesn't really need us, but she would like us to respect her and to be good stewards of her planet. We should not be so arrogant that it is our planet for us to abuse and destroy. No, it is Mother Nature's planet, and we're put here for a short time to look after it. While we're reeling from a global health crisis, other crises cannot be ignored or trivialized. Climate change disasters, including increasing storms, flooding, and drought, are killing hundreds of thousands in Malaysia and around the world. Land degradation directly affects the survival of 75% of the world's poor. Massive loss of biodiversity and critical habitats threatens life on Earth, while air pollution alone kills more than 7 million people every year. These are concerns of epic proportions for everyone. We must act together now. We are in urgent need of a paradigm shift, both in thought and in deed. We must take personal ownership of the crisis. Why, may you ask? Well, simply because, and this is, I believe we are only borrowing the earth from our children. We did not inherit it from our ancestors, and so we owe it to our children and our grandchildren and future generations to leave this planet in a better condition than the way we found it. The ball is in our court now. We can make a difference. The next 10 years are critical for the long-term survival of the planet. I hope all of you in this room and beyond will join global environment centers to be agents for change and advocates for the planet, to respect Mother Earth and transform your actions, organizations, and way of life to a more sustainable one. Together, we can achieve more. On that note, let me thank you for your recognition of the Global Environment Center and inviting us to be part of the Merdeka Award family. Merdeka, as we all know, means independence. Let us all be independent of those ways of the past of exploiting, over-exploiting, misusing, and abusing our planet. Let us be independent and take charge of our lives to strive for a sustainable and equitable future in harmony with Mother Nature. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faisal Parish, for sharing with us your thoughts and passion towards a more sustainable future, of course, for our fellow Malaysians and beyond. And truly, we are here on borrowed time, so let's make the best of our time here on Earth. And we do have a moral obligation to leave this world in a better place than as we found it, as what Mr. Faisal has just mentioned earlier on. So congratulations once again to the Global Environment Center for your work towards a more sustainable future.
Indeed, we didn't inherit this world from our forefathers. We are merely borrowing it from our children. So let's return it in a much better condition, insyaAllah. Ampun tuanku, kita akan berehat seketika dan bagi meneruskan acara pada petang ini, suatu persembahan istimewa yang dibawakan dari Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra bagi menghiburkan suasana sambil anda menjamu selera. Dipersilakan Encik Tan Keng Hong dari Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. Sekali lagi kita beri tepukan untuk kehebatan Encik Tan Keng Hong from the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. Ampun tuanku, majlis akan diteruskan dengan ucapan-ucapan penerima anugerah Merdeka Award 2022 yang seterusnya.
Proceeding with the next award for health, science and technology. For being the driving force behind mitigating the spread of infectious diseases such as HIV/AIDS and structuring policies and responses that led to the prevention, treatment and reduction of HIV/AIDS cases.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000, it was a runaway epidemic of HIV amongst people who use drugs. Together with colleagues at the Malaysian AIDS Council and other like-minded people, we began to knock on doors, given the green light to implement needle syringe program and for the Ministry of Health to start treating people using drugs with methadone. We now see a tremendous reduction in number of people becoming infected with HIV as a result of injecting drug use. Just in 7 years, we were able to prevent, I think, roughly about 14,000 new infections. And if we project that to 2050, we probably have prevented hundreds of thousands of new HIV infections, which naturally translates to millions of dollars saved. I'm Adiba Kamarul Zaman, Merdeka Award recipient for Health, Science and Technology for 2022.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our recipient on stage, Dr. Professor Dr. Adiba Kamarul Zaman, the recipient for Health, Science and Technology.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al Marfullah, Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust. Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Rizwan, members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to express my deepest gratitude to the selection committee for honoring me with this year's Merdeka Award in the category of health and technology. I'm deeply humbled by this recognition and want to first, I get emotional at these sort of things, offer a tribute to all healthcare professionals in Malaysia who, in the last 2.5 years, have worked tirelessly to overcome the horrors of the COVID-19 pandemic. I would naturally like to dedicate this award to my colleagues at the University of Malaya, Ceria, our research arm of the faculty in the Malaysian AIDS Foundation and Council, and colleagues at the International AIDS Society. For without their dedication, hard work and support, I would not be able to do half the things I do, and for which I end up getting the accolades, when really it would not all have been possible without all of them. I just want to take the 3 minutes allocated to me to reflect on the two pandemics, HIV and COVID-19, and I guess the Nipah virus as well, that I have had the privilege and I guess misfortune to be deeply involved in, and how lessons learned from them can help us navigate the future. In just 3 short years, COVID-19 wreaked havoc all over the world with more than 6 million deaths, although the economists estimated that figure to be more than 20 million, and economies ruined. In Malaysia, we had 4.7 million reported cases with 36,000 deaths, and I dare say not many people in this room wouldn't have been touched by COVID-19 in one way or the other. Meanwhile, over the 4 decades of HIV, more than 40 million deaths have been reported globally, 60,000 in Malaysia, and many more affected. Although the two diseases are different in many ways, many similarities exist, not least in the impact that they have had on individuals and societies, like I mentioned. It would therefore be a tragedy if the large death toll and the burden that they have each had on society do not spur us into action to build better healthcare systems and better societies. So what were the 3 big lessons from these two pandemics? For me, what I saw was, number 1, inequality exacerbates pandemics. We saw it with HIV and we saw it again with COVID-19. For an effective response, we need to follow the science, but science alone, as all of us saw, is not enough, as we saw over and over again in both pandemics. Political will, inclusivity, partnerships, and most of all, trust in government are also essential ingredients. And number 3, of course, since I'm in presence of corporate figures, there can be no better investment than investment in health. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed our health system's shortcomings, but it also showed our resilience, especially amongst the public sector healthcare workforce, who worked tirelessly day and night to bring the pandemic under control. The Honourable Minister of Health, Khairi Jamaluddin, a few days ago announced the Ministry of Health's Health White Paper initiative to transform Malaysian health system in the wake of the pandemic and other health challenges that the country face. From a sick care to healthcare and wellness, and in the process, future-proof the country's healthcare system. I'm pleased to note that the Health White Paper aims to do more than fix an exhausted healthcare system, but also address issues such as inequalities and social determinants of health, issues that are very close to my heart. Unfortunately, COVID-19 is not going to be the last of these pandemics, horrible as it was. For as long as there's close interaction of humans and either wild or domesticated animals, there will be another pandemic. The only question is when. So it behooves us to review our response and experience throughout the pandemic, both pandemics, and do all we can to be prepared for the next one. And in the process, transform our present healthcare system into one that befits a country into its 65th year of independence and on its way to joining the ranks of developed nations. Without a strong resolve to keep sharp focus on the most basic lessons learned about preparedness shortfalls, the stage is unfortunately set seamlessly and senselessly for the tragedy of the next event. Placing people's needs at the center of our efforts is going to be essential, and so is basing all our actions on scientific evidence and human rights imperative. So what is my wish for the Malaysian healthcare system in the post-COVID era? Firstly, ensure equal access to health and that healthcare is for all. Number 2, ensure that policies that affect health and society in general are guided by science and evidence and not by greed or ideology. And number 3, ensure that there is better investment in health. Raise the current government expenditure to 5% of the GDP annually instead of the meager 2.5% for health services expenditure, and ensure greater investment in medical education and research and development. I would like to once again thank the committee for this honor, and most of all thank my family, in particular my husband Umar Swift over there, for being my biggest supporter and champion. We Malaysians have come through a very trying few years, and not just from disease and pandemics. But as we look forward to August 31st and a pandemic that is hopefully receding, let me end this speech in hope, taken from a poem on COVID-19 written by the brilliant US poet laureate Amanda Gorman. As one, we will defeat both despair and disease. We stand with healthcare heroes and all employees, with families, libraries, waiters, schools, artists, businesses, restaurants, and hospitals hit hardest. We ignite not in the light, but in lack thereof, for it is in loss that we truly learn to love. In this chaos, we will discover clarity. In suffering, we must find solidarity. For it's our grief that gives us our gratitude, shows us how to find hope if we ever lose it. So, ensure that this ache wasn't endured in vain. Do not ignore the pain. Give it purpose, use it. From these waves of woes, our world will emerge stronger. We'll observe how the burdens braved by humankind are also the moments that makes us humans kind. Let each morning find us courageous, brought closer, heeding the light before the fight is over. And when this ends, we'll smile sweetly, finally, seeing in testing times, we became the best of beings. That's Amanda Gorman, written in April 2020 about COVID-19. Ampun tuanku. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Professor Dr. Adiba Kamarul Zaman, for that beautiful speech and that beautiful poem as well. And thank you for your continuous efforts and your relentless spirit towards driving a healthier Malaysia. So on behalf of all Malaysians, congratulations and well done once again.
In darkness, we look towards the light and the heroines who light the way as well. Setinggi-tinggi terima kasih diucapkan kepada Dato' Profesor Dr. Adiba Kamaruzzaman. Ampun tuanku, bagi anugerah seterusnya, pencapaian ilmiah cemerlang bagi tahun 2022. Dan seperti saya katakan sebentar tadi, inilah dia wanita yang memberikan saya ilham untuk bercita-cita menjadi seorang ahli arkeologi. Umur saya 13 tahun pada masa itu. Kerana beliau merupakan pakar arkeologi pertama dari Malaysia di mana usahanya untuk menggali artefak purba di sekitar kawasan Kota Tampan, Bukit Jawa dan Lembah Lenggong yang membawa kepada penemuan Perak Man. Selain di dalam negara, beliau juga terlibat dalam ekskavasi di luar negara seperti di Thailand dan Filipina. Saksikan.
I waited a while to do that cave because it's very high up. It was a cave where you couldn't see the floor. That's why it's called Gua Gunung Runtuh. The stalactites had fallen and the floor was just full of these huge boulders. So when I brought in my geologist friend, he said, Zuraina, be careful. You're on the 4th floor. If you fall, there are 4 floors down. But lo and behold, that was where I found the Perak Man. And he happened to be the first trench that I decided to open. And we saw his knees first. It's always exciting to get a human skeleton because the skeleton can tell you a long story from the things that he's buried with, his diet, from his teeth. It's interesting. I'm Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Zuraina Majid, recipient of the 2022 Merdeka Award for Outstanding Scholastic Achievement.
Dipersilakan Emeritus Profesor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Abdul Majid untuk menyampaikan ucapan. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih, future archaeologists. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al-Maghfurlah, Sultan of Perak Darul Ridwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust, and Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Ridwan. Ampun Tuanku. Members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. When I started on my archaeological journey, I knew what I needed to do. I worked at it, but never did I imagine that it would lead to this ever so prestigious Merdeka Award. Thank you to the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees for this truly great honor. Recognition for outstanding scholastic achievement marks the peak of any academic career. I began in the early period of Merdeka, when archaeology was little known in Malaysia, and there were no movies to create interest or awareness, no Indiana Jones, no Lara Croft, and there were hardly any real archaeologists either. Fast forward to the present. Shukur Alhamdulillah, stones and bones have now put Malaysia on the archaeological map of the world. For this, I'm grateful to my professors especially my mentor, a very renowned world archaeologist who shaped me and inspired me. My thanks to University Science Malaysia for its strong support and all the national and international grants received. I'm especially grateful to my committed and cheerful excavation team. We were like one large family, away from our real families. And this was made bearable by the people of Lenggong, who were so kind. They gave us moral support, fresh durians, and everlasting friendships, an acknowledgement of our joint effort. Most pivotal to this effort was my late husband, my best friend. He was the invisible part of my team, and together with our children, supported me in every way and delighted in my every little success. I'm sorry. This award is also a recognition of archaeology in Malaysia, a discipline that was underground, pun unintended, but it has surfaced in the last few decades, helped by environmental impact study work, environmental impact assessment work I did for Petronas Gas, PGU 1, 2, and 3, that indirectly supported my graduate students and my mission some 30 years ago. Thank you, Petronas. It is my hope and my wish that archaeology in Malaysia will continue to maintain excellence through meticulous excavations grounded in archaeological ethics. Thank you. I thank you again for the honor of a very prestigious award that certainly marks the peak of my career. Thank you. Ampun Tuanku.
Setinggi-tinggi terima kasih diucapkan kepada Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Siti Zuraina Abdul Majid. It's difficult to see a lady cry and to see it come from an honest heart. Hopefully you will continue to inspire more would-be archaeologists. Saya dah terlajak sikit. Tiba-tiba malangnya saya dah jadi pengacara pula. But insyaAllah, with efforts of heroines like this, we can continue to motivate and inspire our Malaysian youth.
That's right, Nas. And it's never too late to begin a career in archaeology, I believe. It's never too late.
I see.
You're still young at heart.
As long as maybe she could be my mentor, I'll be more than happy, inshallah.
Perhaps, perhaps. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that today would not be complete without a celebratory performance. We would like to invite all of you to take a walk down memory lane with songs from one of Malaysia's icons, a medley of Allahyarham Tan Sri P. Ramlee, performed by the one and only beautiful Misha Omar.
Rasa cinta dalam lubuk jiwaku, lagaknya dia menarik perhatianku, dapat ku membayangkan dari ruang matanya. Tahu dia menyinta dari bayangan tingkahnya. Jangan pura-pura tahu. manusia semuanya tiada lepas siksa, suka dan duka silih berganti, sudah takdirnya yang maha suci. Tetapi manusia seharusnya berusaha, bahagia takkan datang sendiri jika manusia tiada cari. Sekarang sudah aman. Hidup tiada ketakutan. Oh, masanya sudah tiba, tersisih dari noda, luput dari pandangan durjana, lepas bebas dari segala bahaya.
Misha Omar, ladies and gentlemen.
Masih menyengat, masih hebat. Sekali lagi, 40? Saya tak percaya. Nampak masih macam 25 tahun. Sekali lagi tepukan untuk Misha Omar, para hadirin sekalian.
Thank you. Naz, you can calm down now. I saw you fangirling over your idol just now. Are we okay to continue?
I'm very embarrassed, not in front of all our guests. Come. We have a job to do.
I'm sure everyone enjoyed that lovely performance, a beautiful medley indeed. And I saw some of us were tapping our feet and perhaps clapping our fingers. I truly hope you enjoyed that while you're enjoying the high tea spread. Now, let us continue with the acceptance speech. Ampun Tuanku. Continuing on with the Merdeka Award 2022 acceptance speech for outstanding contribution to the people of Malaysia. She is known for her work on scholarly research, curation, archiving and preservation of ancient Malay letters and manuscripts, Malay seals and documents, which led to the understanding of the Malay language as the language of trade and diplomacy throughout the Malay archipelago, and the illumination of the rich heritage of the Malay world.
I've finally managed to publish my catalogue of Malay seals, which is the results of my PhD from 20 years ago, but it took a long time to pull it together. And that book was just published in 2019. It's called Malay Seals from the Islamic World of Southeast Asia. And it's a catalogue of over 2,000 Malay seals, which I define as seals with inscriptions in Arabic script, Arabic or Jawi script, and they span 4 centuries, from the 16th century right to the early 20th century. There is such a rich historical tradition. Be proud. You are heirs to a very, very rich tradition of writing and intellectual thought. Hi, I am Dr. Annabel Ter-Gallop, the 2022 Merdeka Award recipient for the outstanding contribution to the people of Malaysia.
And now let's welcome Dr. Annabel Ter-Gallop for the award in outstanding contribution to the people of Malaysia on stage for her acceptance speech.
Your Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al Makfurlah, Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust. Your Royal Highness Tuanku Zara Salim, Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Rizwan, members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express my profound gratitude for this very great honour from the Merdeka Award Trust, which has touched me deeply for many reasons. Allow me to start with the personal reason. It means so much to me because of my own Malaysian family roots. My mother is from the small town of Changlun in Kedah, where my grandfather had a shop house in Pekan Lama. When my mother, who is now 89 years old, heard of this amazing award, she said to me, "Please tell them you are from Changlun." And so I have fulfilled my mother's wishes. I feel I am anak Kedah, and as such, I am profoundly moved by this great Malaysian award. Professionally, when I survey previous Merdeka Award winners, I feel particularly humbled because so many earlier winners are associated with great charitable, educational, or scientific achievements, the value of which to mankind needs no clarification or explanation. My own field of study is Malay manuscripts, which at first sight may certainly strike many people as being perhaps a rather narrow and dry academic area. But I believe passionately that it is through these written sources which stand witness to the great moments and developments in Malaysian history and its interactions with the wider world, that people, all Malaysians, can reach a better understanding of all the waves of influences that came together to create this wonderful country and thus truly embody the spirit of Merdeka. On this journey, there have many mentors who have greatly inspired me in my field and in the work that I do with manuscripts. I'd like to start by mentioning two who are no longer with us. The first is the late, great Dato' Zakia Hanum Noor, a former Director General of the National Archives of Malaysia, who was a true multi-talented Renaissance woman who had so many profound interests. She was also anak Kedah, but she had such a great belief in the power of history and historical documents. And she entrusted me with one of the first and most exciting parts of my career, which was the opportunity to do an exhibition called Warisan Warka Melayu, the legacy of the Malay letter for Malaysia, which really started me off on the journey of the study of Malay letters, documents, and seals. I'd also like to mention a local historian par excellence, the late Datu Wira Muhammad Sharif Abu Sama from Kedah, who I first met in London at the British Library, where he came to research the history of Kedah in the historical sources we hold. And he was so moved by his passionate interest in history. He told me that at the time he became a district officer in Kedah, he was the only one without a degree, and that is what really pushed him on his route to continue further education until he achieved his doctorate at a very mature age. And the third mentor I am delighted is here today as one of my guests, Dato' Zawiya Baba, a former Director General of the National Library of Malaysia, who has done so much to support and promote Malay manuscripts in all her activities. And so this Merdeka Award is precious not just for me, but for my whole world, my tribe, I think is the current expression, of librarians, archivists, curators, and scholars who take care of sources from the past for the benefit of future generations. Thank you. Ampun tuanku, terima kasih.
Congratulations to Dr. Annabelle Tekala for that beautiful acceptance speech.
Absolutely right. May the next generation of Malaysians continue to be inspired by heroes like Dr. Annabelle, who keep the past alive so that we may learn from our history to create a better future. Ampun tuanku. Tahun ini merupakan tahun yang bermakna bagi Merdeka Award Trust kerana tahun ini merupakan julung kalinya Merdeka Award memperkenalkan kategori baru iaitu Anugerah Harapan Merdeka. Selepas dekad mengajar di kawasan pedalaman Malaysia, beliau menyedari terdapat kekurangan yang serius bagi sistem pendidikan kanak-kanak daripada masyarakat orang asli. Berazam untuk menyediakan peluang pendidikan yang sama rata kepada kumpulan kanak-kanak ini, beliau membangunkan program untuk mengajar mereka bahasa Inggeris serta melatih guru menjadi lebih mahir dalam menguasai ilmu tersebut. Kita saksikan.
I studied in Penang Island, the Teachers Training Institute in Penang Island. By divine appointment, I would say, I was sent to the Seorang Asli School in the state of Pahang in 2012. As I developed relationships with the kids, as I dived into the livelihoods of the Orang Asli community, I started changing my perspective first of what education is. It's not about what I can do for them. A lot of individuals, a lot of organizations, whatever it is, go to communities like this, underprivileged ones, with the idea that I know everything, I'm here to save you, I'm here to change your lives. But the idea is to do something with them. The idea is to engage with them. The idea is to highlight their voices, their identity in what I was doing. And in that 10 years that I was there in the school, that's the only thing that I learned, and it's changed my life ever since. I'm Samuel Isaiah, recipient of the 2022 Anugerah Harapan Merdeka.
Dipersilakan Samuel Isaiah bagi menyampaikan ucapan beliau. Dipersilakan.
His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhibbuddin Shah Al-Maghfurullah, Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan, Royal Patron and Chairman of the Merdeka Award Trust. Her Royal Highness Tuanku Zahra Salim, Raja Permaisuri of Perak Darul Rizwan, members of the Merdeka Award Board of Trustees, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Merdeka Award Trust for this incredible honor. I'm sure you know that giving an award to a teacher would mean that I have to start with the lesson. But before I start with the lesson, I would like to get your attention first. So when I say hi, I would like you to say hello. And when I say hello, I would like you to say hi. Can you do that? Hi. Hello. Hi, hi. Hello, hello, hi. Thank you everyone for participating. So, with me today, I've got something special, right? So I brought all my teaching stuff with me. So, from where you're sitting right here, right there, sorry, you can see, can you tell which one of this is a fake Lego and which one is a real Lego? Well, chances are, you can't. But my lesson in inequity happened over Lego when I was 6. We were all asked to bring Legos for a competition. And on that day, I realized the ones my parents bought me were not real Legos. Hence, I could not participate in that competition. Up till that point, I never knew the existence of the real ones. For me, the cheap, bright-colored plastic ones bought in a pasar malam perhaps were Legos. My family's income level determined my entry into a competition. 20 years later, I would find myself in a classroom in the face of inequity again. Except this time, I had it within me to do something about it. We did not need real or fake Legos. My students and I had nature, music, the world outside, and most importantly, the hope in our hearts to face any inequity and injustice. But inequities are such that from a distance, it looks as if we are all the same, like these Legos. But come a little closer and they now determine if you have a fighting chance at life or not. And although I worked extensively with the community members and teachers nationwide, there seems to be a limit to what we desired. Something which could only be achieved through systemic changes. I left after 8 years to complete my master's and with a desire to do more. And today, in my work at Pemimpin, with my wonderful team who is watching right now, we coach and support over 200 schools, hoping to bridge the gap and to give all our children a chance to fulfill their potential. Among others, we are currently working with every Orang Asli school in the state of Perak, hoping to provide better access to quality education for these children. Most days, like today, I'm an award-winning teacher and educator. But on some days, I'm still that boy in the classroom, wondering why I could not take part in a simple Lego competition. And so long as this memory lives in me, my hope for this nation remains for every child in Malaysia with a dream and with a set of blocks. Thank you.
Tahniah diucapkan kepada Samuel Isaiah, resipien atau penerima anugerah Merdeka Award 2022 kita dengan kategori yang terbaru, anugerah Harapan Merdeka. Dan bila saya lihat anak muda seperti ini, Julie, memberi perangsang kepada generasi seterusnya, it makes me want to do better. And it makes Malaysians want to do better. To our laureates today, never forget that whatever you do has given inspiration to Malaysians out there. And we're not asking for Malaysians out there to become archaeologists, to become sukarelawan dan sebagainya. We just want Malaysians to be the best that they can be, inspired by this laureate. So sekali lagi, please ladies and gentlemen, join us in wishing congratulations, tahniah kepada semua penerima anugerah Merdeka Award 2022.
That's right. We are only limited by our own imaginations. We have heard 6 inspiring, heartfelt speeches from our award recipients. Congratulations, and may you continue to inspire all those around you. Ampun Tuanku. With that, we have come to the end of our event for this evening. It has been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals and organizations. Congratulations once again to all the 2022 Merdeka Award recipients. Once again, you are truly an inspiration to the people of Malaysia. The next Merdeka Award will be organized in 2024. For more information on the award, do keep a lookout on the Merdeka Award website at www.merdekaaward.my or visit us on our social media platform for the latest updates, and we look forward to seeing all of you live in person as well as virtually as well for our next Merdeka Award.
Tidak dilupakan juga ya Julie, para hadirin yang berada di sini bersama kami dan juga mereka yang menonton secara maya. Terima kasih diucapkan di atas sokongan anda semua terhadap Merdeka Award Trust. Ampun tuanku, disembah maklumkan bahawa demikianlah sempurnanya majlis pengumuman dan penyampaian Merdeka Award 2022 pada petang ini. Patut sekali lagi bagi pihak majlis dengan penuh hormat dan takzimnya merafak sembah menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih di atas limpah perkenan duli-duli yang Maha Mulia tuanku yang sudi bercemat duli berangkat ke majlis pada petang ini. Dan patut memohon perkenan duli-duli tuanku untuk patut mengakhirinya. Ampun tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun, sembah patut mohon diampun. Mengumumkan keberangkatan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Sultan Perak Darul Rizwan dan Duli Yang Maha Mulia Raja Permaisuri Perak Darul Rizwan diiringi ahli lembaga pemegang amanah Merdeka Award Trust. Dipersilakan.